So how do we pick the investments we recommend? I'm often asked. Well, performance, or how much money they make, is important, along with costs and more qualitative stuff such as reputation and the fund managers themselves. So looking at performance, how do we, and they, the fund managers, when they're promoting their wares, measure it? Well, usually by comparing what they've made or lost against something called a benchmark. And there's the rub. I always look, when I'm looking at benchmarks, at how they've done in comparison with other similar funds with similar levels of risk and similar profiles of where they're invested. But in recent years, fund managers themselves have come up with other arguably easier to beat measures of their performance. And one of these has been volatility, or how much they go up and down, which often means that they can claim that going up isn't as important as long as they don't go down so much. Until, of course, they do. And we saw this a few years ago with many of what were called absolute return funds, which in a crash didn't actually return anything. Now, another measure in recent years has been inflation, and many funds have been aiming to provide returns in excess of the consumer price index, or of the consumer price index plus, let's say, 3%. Now, this was fairly cool. They could do 4 or 5% and claim they were beating their benchmark until the last year or so, when suddenly this means turning in 10, 12, 13, 14% a year. Hoist by their own petard is, I think, the expression. Anyway, it's being consistent, which is, I think, important. Doing brilliantly rarely lasts, as it inevitably means taking too many risks. Alan Neil Woodford. I rest my case.